me. At least you can hear it straight from somebody who's been in the program. That's who I am. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been a man of integrity all my life, had my clearance from day one, and it's continued on till now. And that's something that I just can't do. I don't like to be, unforthcoming. I don't like to hide things that don't need to be hidden. I don't like untruths when they're spoken. And that's who I am. And that's all I can offer. I mean, honestly, that's the one thing that's missing, is that there's too few whistleblowers to help the public understand this fully. And I'm woefully inadequate. I only know my piece of the puzzle. I don't know everything. I have opinions,
this is ironic,
parts of it and things that I've figured out, but I can be wrong on some of my points as well. And I'll readily admit that. But at least I'll give you my best shake. And that's all I can offer Congress. That's all I can offer you guys. That's all I can offer anybody.
I'm a fan, Jason.
To talk to me. And at least I'll give you a point of view that's from somebody who's actually been there and seen some stuff.
To this guy.
And I don't know how much more real it can get other than
I wouldn't plug
you actually getting to experience it yourself. Because I think if everybody was exposed to it, then yeah, there'd be no problem. But even then, like I said, there'd still be a cadre of people that just would think it was a hallucination. So,
it's not really something you can translate to someone. Honestly,
yeah,
I don't think the government can even disclose the full Monty. It's not possible through language. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. It's just one of those things that, because I've tried so many ways, I'm like, did I just not say it right and get something across? I don't know to this person, but it just has to do with the person receiving the information. I can believe you're lying, or I can believe you're telling the truth. And it's really up to each individual to go with one way or the other.
Well said. Well said. Jason, you're burning the midnight oil right now, and
I'm getting tired.
I mean, just I
Yes.
want to
much longer
Rob's
than
a champ close in the space, but
then we
have a few more hands up. How much more time do you have, Jason?
Yeah, let's take a few more questions, and then I got to get some rest, man.
Okay, so we're gonna preference the people who have not spoken yet.
That's good, though, because I do want to play the
Rob
other
the Great. We'll go with you, and then Zim.
I want to play the deposition from Corey Good.
Hey, Jason, I just had a quick question. What are your thoughts about the Nazca mummies and I guess the Peru attacks that happened last year? Thanks.
I find them intriguing, honestly. Some of the head structures I find interesting, but again, I'm not a biologist by any means, so I can't make those assessments. I do think that the bodies that they found in Peru are really interesting. I mean, they claim that they've had, no kidding, biologists and scientists looking at them, and they're verifying that they are biological, that they're not glued together or whatever. And I find that even more interesting. So, being an analyst, though, I'm still waiting for bona fide.
Master says they are glued together.
Let's have an exhibit with them in there, and really have more people studying these bodies and mummies and stuff like that. Because I think at some point our science will get sophisticated enough to where we can make more assumptions about, the DNA is actually, human or not.
I got you.
And those seems to be some of the sticking points right now, is that people are still saying, oh, no, it still just be a malformed human being and stuff like this. And it's the same thing like with the MH360 theorems and things like this. And there's so many
mutilation
arguments and counter arguments right now. It's hard for me to make a true statement, but I find it intriguing, and I'd like to think that maybe there's some evidence
I hate
now
to
that we actually
explain a joke. I hate to explain a joke, but did anyone ever see Annie Jacobson on Joe Rogan when she just, every time he asks a question, she says, Well, in my book, read it in my book. If you read my book, if like says it in like a million different ways over like a span of like over the 2-hour conversation I heard in my book, probably I would say no less than 200 times. I'm not kidding. I started counting. Like I went back from the beginning and we started a little ticker clock to see how many times she had said it. It was unreal. And Annie is under the belief that the Roswell crash was something that was sent here from Russia, and there was people that were little human beings that had been mutilated and experimented on by the Russians and the USSR at the time, and they were made to look alien-like, and that's where the Roswell story, like that's the truth of it, and she got that from her one source, and she claims that the guy's credible, and she sticks to that story, that side of the story, and that's all well and good, but yeah, just to explain that.
Some, more DNA to study. That'd be really cool to have that.
Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Zim, you're up.
Hey, Jason, I missed some of the first hours of this, but
Much respect for
thank you for coming forward. And
this space, though.
question, I've had an experience that seems so real, and it was
I appreciate
what
that.
people would describe the
That's
sleep
very
paralysis thing, but
Instead of just taking the time for
there's a
yourself,
lot more tied to it.
you allow
and
everybody to get
considering your experience with the telepathy, is anything with the program tied to the sleep paralysis experiences, and is that considered something more of a reality than just a psychological phenomenon?
I would say that just from my experience in the desert with that individual, that he literally, I thought he had kind of numbed my friends' minds that were still in the car while I was standing on the roadway with him. So I would say that he probably had them in a form of paralysis to where they couldn't function anymore.
God damn it! Can someone
sleep paralysis.
If someone in the chat can do me a solid on that other channel, find me where he talks about the program's name, or the 20 where he says 20 and back and talks about his alien encounter. That's the part I want to play, obviously. But I'm
paralysis might be a byproduct of exposure to that same sort of a thing in mind control.
Thank you, Jason. Zim, did you have a follow-up before you go to the next person?
Yeah, real quick too, before we get to the other hands, we got Steve Sprague. He was wanting to ask a few questions and he can't raise his hand. He had like 2 questions he wanted to ask, not really a few, so don't take that wrong.
Hey Jay, how are you, sir? Thanks for coming out tonight and talking. Are you okay hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, I had just a couple really quick ones. I doubt you'll be able to talk about it. Do you know about, or let me rephrase this. Are you aware of Fort Huachuca?
I've heard of it. What am I thinking of here? I'm real tired right now. My mind's like going numb.
No, it's the head of the intelligence for the Army, but there's some things that are specific to that location to do with UAP. The other question that I had is, do you think that at any time as you were going along with this, could you have ever been, and I'm not talking about your own firsthand encounter here or anything that you worked on with the program, but could you have ever been fed disinformation? Do you think that along the way, whether it's anybody that could be outside of, let's say, the UAP task force, Greer comes to mind, or someone else, or I'm not picking on anyone individual particularly. I'm just saying, could you have been fed disinformation? Do you believe that might have been the case for anything that you hold as knowledge to yourself? And then really the third question is do you think and do you feel that you will have any attacks and reprisals for what you're doing and becoming a whistleblower? And is that a concern for you? And that's it. Those are my questions.
Oh, okay. As for folks influencing me, like I've said before, I don't really read much on UAP unless one of my friends throws me a link and says, "Hey, look at this" or "Look at that." And then I might give some opinions on it. But even though I know Greer and other folks that are out there, yes, they've surprised me with some of the stuff they know, and I haven't experienced some of the things that they have said. And I can verify that some of the things they say is true, but not all of it. Like I said, I only know a piece of the puzzle. So in that regard, did it influence anything I have seen or heard? I highly doubt it, especially when I was on mission, because it would be a complete waste of thousands and thousands of dollars to have me and my team go someplace for an assessment and then waste time trying to feed me false information the whole way through, or to try to influence me and my team, because that would seem kind of weird to only have like 4 people right into your program, have them doing security inspections for you, and then feeding them a line of BS that is totally unproductive.
That really makes sense.
I don't think that doesn't sound logic to me. Now, as for reprisals, no, I've done everything I possibly can to be on the up and up with all of this. I've kept the classified stuff out of our conversation tonight. The only thing I've been willing to talk about is the culture within the program and the existence of NHI, and that's totally unclassified. Those are all things that are in my DOPSR as well, so I've got coverage on all of it. So as for reprisals, yeah, sure. I'm sure any jerk is welcome to come forward and try to shoot me down or whatever they want to do.
Oh, they will, my brother. They will. I
can't be bothered with that right now. I've got a team of legal people and lawyers that have been helping me from the start and the get-go. They've all steered me in the right direction, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so. But now that I've gone through all the wickets, I mean, I did everything they told me to do to be to the point where I can go public. So I don't think there's going to be any reprisals. There might be some people unhappy with me doing this. I mean, that's a given. But,
naturally.
I don't know what to tell them. I mean, honestly, it's not their life, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
So you can have your opinion as to whether I should come forward, but it's what I chose to do with it. And I'm not overstepping my bounds when it comes to my obligations to the government and my classified clearances.
Jason,
I don't know.
Honestly, thank you. If you're who you say you are going to be in the history books. Sorry, I'm not trying to blow your ego up, and I know that's not where you're doing this, but this is a big deal. And I want to thank you for coming into the space. Rob, thank you for hosting. I'm being respectful of your time. Maybe we've got a lot more time left. I know you're toward the end. I did want to give one more question to a friend of mine who is smarter and more experienced on this topic than most people I've encountered in what is the Wild Wild West. Like, spaces, Jason, I'm not sure I would recommend doing a lot more spaces, but this is a great way to break your story. Paul, do you want to?
Oh, wait, real quick, and I would not recommend at all going on Louis Reviews' this show, Jason.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
I'm so glad.
I'm
so glad that they said that.
Thank you, Kimball and Rob and Astral, for hosting this. Jason, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an incredibly thousand. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, I really appreciate it. My question is this. So Luis Elizondo has been quoted talking about the idea of what constitutes humanity. He's brought up the idea of what if it's not